Hello, my friends, and welcome. I'm Amanda Weedmark, your host and expressive alchemist. I'm a visual storyteller, intuitive creative, and guide for conscious creatives and purpose-driven brands. This channel is a space where creative expression, intuitive insight, and honest business conversations come together to spark clarity, growth, and meaningful connection. I'd love to hear your insights, takeaways, or topic suggestions in the comments. And if my content resonates, please like, subscribe, and share with fellow creatives who might need a little inspiration on their journey as well. Your support helps the space grow and reach those who need it most, so thanks! Anything else you'd like to know about this channel or my services, you can find in the description box. Now, go grab your favorite beverage, and let's dive into today's episode. I'm curious, what might your business be trying to show you about yourself? Is it revealing a belief that you didn't know you had? Is it showing you how to handle being seen or not seen? Is it mirroring how much space you feel allowed to take up? Is it reflecting your relationship with time, value, or trust? I'm not here to hand you any answers to these questions. I'm here to wonder with you. Because sometimes our creative work or our businesses know something that we haven't quite named yet. And when we pause to listen, we begin to see not just the business we're building, but the person we are becoming through it. I've been thinking a lot about how our creative businesses aren't just something we build. They're also something that builds us. They reflect our energy, our values, our fears, our desires. And when something feels off, when we hit resistance, burnout, or blocks, it might not be a business problem. It might be a mirror for us to look within. So in this episode, I want to invite you into a space of gentle reflection, not to fix anything, but to get curious and to simply notice. So my business in the years of running it has reflected a lot of things for me. One of those things was burnout, which I talked about in the last episode, and how that helped me understand where I was misaligned in my business, what I was doing too much of, what I needed to delegate, what was working and what was not. But also in my business, it tends to reflect my fears of being seen or setting boundaries with clients, even having fear of success. I remember when I first landed my distributor client, I almost said no because the pressure to handle large volume orders was intimidating and overwhelming. I had never worked with a distributor before, and here I was diving headfirst into something that I didn't have knowledge about. But how can you gain knowledge without gaining experience? And sometimes these experiences are the only way to gain that knowledge, to go headfirst into the mistakes, to learn, but also to grow beyond our comfort zones, to put us in those spaces, to be able to see our resilience, to see our strength, to see in ways we problem solve and collaborate with others. So is there a place where you're hiding, hesitating, or full-on holding back? And what is that revealing about you, your values, your boundaries, your desires? Are there areas of healing that is required? Or areas of growth to lean into or to acquire a new knowledge or a skill? So a couple other ways that my business has become a mirror for me is me underpricing my offerings or my services. This is something that I've done since the launch of my business in 2017, but also even before that, when I was doing freelance work on the side. I was constantly doing a ton of work for very little money because I needed experience or I wanted to have some peace in my portfolio. But what this was really reflecting is that I wasn't valuing my skills. I wasn't valuing what I brought to the table. So I underpriced to reflect that. I also was worried that I wasn't going to perform or live up to the expectations of my clients. So I underpriced to be able to lower the expectations and hopefully overperform. I understood at the very core and root of all this was how I saw myself, my self-worth. And therefore, I priced myself based on my own perspective of my self-worth and my value. Even when I had 10, 15, 20 years of experience, I was still charging way less than I should have. I also over-delivered because I always felt that what I offered was never enough. And I had that fear that my client would see that. But the root cause of that was that I feared that I wasn't enough. Before doing this podcast, I avoided being visible. I would post some things on Instagram. I would share in my closed newsletter community. But I was afraid of showing up and sharing my stories, sharing my talents or my gifts in the most authentic way, because I feared being seen. What would people think? What would people say? I feared criticism because we all know how mean the internet can be. So with that, I understood that I had to be strong in who I was. What I had to offer would be valuable to someone, and that I had a lot of experience to share. I had a lot of value to share, and that was enough to be seen. But that also required me to understand my truth and to be really discerning about whose feedback I would consider and whose I would ignore. I also came up against blocks when I was either in misalignment with the project, the client, or my direction in my career or business. And there was a heavy focus on having things be just perfect or just right, because I didn't want to be seen as lazy or unskilled, when really it was great, according to the people that I shared with in my closed community or friendship circles. So the perfectionism again came back to, you're not enough, and therefore you have to work until this is good enough to share it with the world. When really, I just had to do my best and share it. No overthinking, no over-processing, no over-planning. So I would encourage you to notice these things that come through in your business and not necessarily have the need to fix it or problem solve it, but to simply just notice and get curious about it, about what it might mean, either within your business or career or within yourself as well. So notice where there is friction, avoidance, or over-effort, where you are doing a lot or offering a lot, maybe out of fear that you will be seen or perceived in a certain way. Name the possible emotion or the energetic root that might be the undercurrent energy of what's going on in the external. Then, once you have some kind of idea about it, nurture this insight, either with rest or setting a boundary, making a small change, or having self-compassion for what's coming through and even why. I'd be curious to know what might shift for you if you treated your business challenges not necessarily as problems to solve, but reflections to observe without judgment. Feel free to comment below if you feel comfortable, and let's talk about it. And if you have any questions or would like me to elaborate on anything, let me know that too, and I'll be happy to do my best in answering. Thanks so much for listening and sharing this space with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with a fellow creative who might need it. And stay tuned for more episodes. Until next time, my friends, stay curious and follow your soul-led path.